Sorry, y'all. Just thought I should be recording this. Alrighty. Drill, hot drill. So drill now through here, underneath the bridge, into the wing. Alternate angle. Sort of about roughly in the middle of the cut, what's going to be the cavity. I had drilled from, what are we calling this? The effects cavity into the control cavity through the neck blank. I just lined the wing up, drilled through, different drill, into this, and then continued down in. Oh, I don't know. Use this wonderful tool. Figure out how deep I did it. 1 3/4 inches, 55 millimeter. Which should, fairly significant amount. So once I route the cavity, it's going to be taking some of that hole out. This won't be near as far as it travel. As it sits right now, I've got the layout of the depth of the pickup cavities, general layout where the hole where the ground wire is going to go from the bridge, the effects loop, let's call it that, the effects loop hole, and roughly going to do a channel here, matching channel here. I don't know how deep I'm going to end up doing that. Actually, putting 1/2 inch of material on top of this, roughly. Yeah, well, at least at least 3/8 worth of material. It's going to be shaped and all that, so it won't really matter. Now, some of you may say, well, how are you going to find the hole which put the piece on? Back drill. It's going to be under the bridge. It won't really matter. So, what I need to do is make these channels. Most important one's going to be on here. That one I think I am going to make a larger hole. Got 2 pickup wires to go through, and if I remember correctly, I have a fairly significant sized tip on the wire. And it's been a while since I got this, so been longer than a day. Alright, so here. No, not really. Depending on you run the wire through. Don't have to run it other way. I'm running it that way. So yeah. So something easily maneuver bolt through there, like that. Alright, I'm looking at 3/16. Sorry, 20 millimeters on that. I think it's 3/16. Roughly about 5 mil. So 5 millimeter. 3/16. Where did I put the 3/16? You know, this is bigger than 3/16. It is. So I've got an even bigger hole of wait a minute. Okay. What's it before? Basically. And I want to control cavity access back there. It'd be here. 90. Probably want to keep that out of the electronics. I developed a habit years ago of tending to hold my breath when brushing off of, or at least exhaling while I'm doing it, while I'm brushing off the table. I don't know why I did, that's what I do. Okay, so this. And that's going to be roughly, oh, I found my shorter straight edge. 2.5 inches. Should be plenty deep enough. 2.5 is going to put it within the control cavity area. I'm going to have it close to the bridge, but not in my way. Kind of finger pick, so it's behind it. Easily reachable though. I don't do volume sweeps. I'm not a guitar player. Just not a technique that I find any use for. Volume swells, sorry. I'm sure somebody out there was saying, you got it wrong. I don't use that technique, so I don't really care. I do, but I don't. I don't build guitars for the purposes of showing off. I don't build them to be precise. I build them as an instrument that's enjoyable to play, inspiring, and conveying a message. Now, what that message is generally scripture-based. So if you want to have a guitar with a naked person painted on it, don't ask me. I might be able to send you in the direction of somebody who will do it. I'm not going to be the one doing it. Sorry to disappoint you. Now you want anything other than demonic stuff from the Bible, I will probably do it. If I don't think I can, I again will direct you to somebody who might. No promises. Alrighty, so have this that gives me access to the cavity, make the channel to match on both of these, although it's not entirely necessary. If I remember correctly. It's going to be plenty of room underneath. Oh yeah. So it's not entirely necessary to put it in here. I kind of like to keep as much in here as I can. No way of running of wires to make it simple, but I've got to run wires from here to there anyway. Yeah, I'll just do it in the wing. It leaves much more meat here, although I am going to be making pickup cavities. Oh, let's see. I determined they're about an inch is plenty of depth. Minus the other piece, that's about ½ inch deep. And it's going to be a little above the body anyway. And so, yeah, about ½ inch. So that leaves the remainder of this roughly an inch. There's going to be a good solid inch of material back here. 3/4 here. Like I said, I'm going to put some reinforcement in there. Mainly aesthetically speaking, although it will have some structural component to it. Still not sure how far up I'm going to do that. The center part of the neck, I could probably go 3 or 4 inches up the neck. And yeah, I could. But that's for a different day, different video. Alright, so I'm going to be running channel right there. Roughly 3/4 of an inch or so deep. Okay, roughly about an inch deep. 3/4 an inch, somewhere in that area. Run it down here. Let's see. Do I want to do this by hand? Gouge? Or do I want to do it with a router? Well, Dremel. Router would be a little aggressive. Not to mention noisy. got something on the end to catch on. But, table is designed for going up and down, not so much for the purposes of being easy to clamp to. As close as I can. Rattly noisy. Back in the drawer. I put that drill away later. I've got to quit doing that. That's how I end up losing drill bits. Is I'll leave it in the drill, take the drill somewhere, and forget to put it back. All right, much couch. Use the Christmas gifts. Not sure quality or anything or make of these, so oops. Always test out your tool to see how well it's going to work in an area that won't be visible, preferably in a scrap piece. I don't have a scrap piece of this. Oh yeah, much better. It's time to sharpen those other ones. Oops. Missed. This might be a bit wide for this. I'm glad I started intermittent fasting, but it makes mornings a bear. Roughly going to be about that much. Succeed. $8 mil. I think it was plenty. Might be a bit much. Yes, I know. It's going to check. keep your hands out of the direction of travel, people. Even though it was a little bit lower than travel. If it gets going fast enough, it'll hop over things. Don't ask me how I know. Learn from other people's scars and mistakes. It's much safer that way. Deep do I do that? That's a good question. How deep do I really want that? Move that closer. Oh man, nice grain. Woo, pretty. You guys aren't seeing this cross grain. Medullary rings. Sorry. Beautiful grain going across. Man, shiny. Longer run. Just a little bit more. Hand out the way of the splinters, shavings, whatever. Okay. A little much. Overshot just a tad. Shorter runs. Shorter runs are better. Man, I'm busting my knuckles on stuff. Last week? This one. Yes, I know. I'm older, I got thinner skin, all that. Yeah. I think it's more of a matter of dehydration at this point. Trying to stay hydrated. But 110 degrees outside in a warehouse that's climate controlled, it still gets dry. By the way, if you're dealing with heat, as most of us are here in Texas, cooling towels. A damp towel around your neck. Preferably the brand I use, which is Mission Brand, because it is really impressive technology, what they've embedded the cloth with. You get it damp, you snap it, and it almost instantly goes AC cold. It is awesome stuff. Unfortunately, when it dries out, it quits working. You have to get it damp again and start all over. Ooh. And yeah, it's not too deep. Oops. That went down the hole. Went down the rabbit hole. Expand this transition here just a tad. Not going for artistic at this point, but I can't help myself. All those form, follow, function people out there, don't look. I like a nice flow for two reasons. One is it looks really cool when you can see it. In this case, you won't be able to. At least I hope you never will. That would mean that the instrument was taken apart. But also, it causes a nice easy flow to go through rather than having to skip and jump around things. Anyway, now I'm through doing hand motions. Trying to be safe, people. Trying. Put your faith in Jesus Christ and you will never ever have to worry about being safe enough or good enough. I hate to break it to you, you can't. It's humanly impossible not to sin. It's only by grace, a word that's majorly misunderstood. But as God has said in His Word, He gives grace to the humble. But right before that, He says He resists the proud. So don't be proud. Realize you can't do it on your own. And take the offer. Be reconciled. It's far more enjoyable. It is seriously far more enjoyable. And for those who don't think so, just remember the words of Aubrey CD Talks podcast. He said a wonderful thing. Revival is like being born again. Aptly put. The joy. Oh. I don't mean happy feelings. I mean power of God joy. Oh, goodness. And I missed Sunday. I unfortunately was scheduled to work an extra day. Which when I signed up to work there, tried to make arrangements that I would not have to. Simply because, well, if you went to my church or any church that's going through a season like this, though ours has been 7 years, you don't want to miss. Because every time you go in that sanctuary, the power of God is present. And that's something you want to miss. You become hungry and thirsty for God. Come, Holy Ghost. And no, don't count that as a rant. That was a statement of fact. Not that my rants don't tend to be that. Short little pieces. Nibble away at it. Don't go for long runs like you will with a plane. These tend to dig deep, or if you lose control, rise up, and you don't want your other hand being pierced. Christ already did that. You don't have to. I was keeping in mind the depth of which you are trying to achieve, so you don't go too shallow or too deep, and then making this big monster cavity in there that you're not wanting. All right, smooth time. Let the tool do the work. I'm trying to keep really tight control of this thing. Maybe why my shoulders are hurting so much is tight control. That's just don't do that. All right. Gave up on picking each little piece and throwing it in the trash. Too many of them end up on the floor that way. It's not like I have a trash can down here on the floor. Trash on the floor. Anyway, so I'm about halfway. Depth on this. Out here. Depth on this. Near deep enough so it ends up on the floor. There we go. Average. 3.5 mil. Should probably go deeper. That's a good place to start. 3.5 mil. What's that? 1/8 inch. No, not even. Yeah, right about an 8. Pairing it forward, pairing motion, walking it down. Go shallow, knock the piece out. Man, it's really sore. And again, pairing motion, oops, depth. And being a slanted surface, kind of orient yourself to the surface, not to the table. Makes it easier to adjust your depth more accurately. Say more accurately as I go deeper. We're working less tucking, I think. And when you get a chip, go back the other direction. Otherwise, just keep it going deeper and deeper. What was it Paul Sellers used to refer to it? when doing lines of the knife. Oh yeah, cut to cut. Kind of like wood carving. Ben Crow stole my thunder on the using the tools for doing, what do they call it, shotgun? But basically the texture and the texture that you see in rifles, decorative cuts, wood carvings that you see. I always found them somewhat fascinating, and I've always wanted to do incorporate that into a guitar. I didn't even know if it was really possible and how it would look. I mean, I've seen some really nice carvings, granted in softer woods, on guitars. There's a couple of brothers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that did this. They used softer woods, but they carved a dragon head and then inlaid glass, faceted glass into it for eyes and things like that. Man, it was some beautiful work. Not sure I would own it, but those people into the whole D&D thing and that whole Wicca nonsense. I refer to the last things as nonsense, by the way. But it was some really nice work. And when I say they carved it into it, I don't mean they carved the design into it. They made the whole thing a dragon head. Kind of like SBH's Zelda build being a shield. A lot more complicated. There's a shop vac down there. Okay. I think you guys have probably seen enough of this work. However, I wanted to give you a close-up of this. See if it'll show up. That shiny grain action I was referring to only shows up when you're working it in depth. Not this texture, but you can see little bits of it in the rough spots. I'm trying to find a good spot in the smoother one. Anyway, I'm not really seeing one. Focus, focus, people. No, you can't see it. Not showing up. Anyway, so channel from this hole all the way through to the front pickup cavity. Once I get that done, surface this, get it all set and ready for the glue up. Other side will be a little less complicated. Alright, let's see if you can see it better now. Somewhat. Anyway, channel, hole for the ground, the FX, hole for the ground, the FX, channel will be along here. And got that drilled all the way through. Let's see if we can see through it. Yep. So those are all drilled. This together. Route this, and this. Ignore that. Have purple heart come in and jog around this. Just a little bit of a dog leg. Anyway, I'm going to try and get this smoother, flatter. Same with the matching one. Start getting some assembly done. Look at the pretty wood. Hard to believe that's all Padauk. Darker stuff's more of a brown. Stuff here is more of an orange. That's a red pencil, by the way. And the purple heart, of course. And rocks. Plenty and plenty of rocks. Various different types. So you can tell, drilled some plugs out. Let's see about doing inlay. It works. Diamond tipped hole saws. And I've got a bunch of different sizes. Works pretty good. Haven't tried it in diamond, obviously, or any of that. Alrighty. That's the update. Headstock is not quite finished being shaped. Oops. And the ears that I glued on are going to be disappearing for the most part. A lot of time and effort spent on something that's not really going to matter in the end anyway. But I was trying to protect my work. Let's see. Put it in here. This raised part on this side. It's all going to get cut off. It's going to be, or rather, sanded back all the way down through here. This is going to be, probably worked on a little bit more before I do any sanding on that. But this and this are all going away. And that is going to get straightened up. And I'm not sure if I'm going to take that out or not. I kind of sort of like that. In this I'm going to leave. I might go deeper with it. Deeper than I did here. Not decided yet. Kind of like having that near the end. Less possibility of breakage. And I gotta do some more detail work on this. Might have to inset this a little bit deeper. Not quite sure yet. Maybe. But that's for another day. That's the update. See y'all later.